Some of the biggest trading losses in history were not made by beginners. They were made by intelligent people, experienced people, people who understood markets. So why do smart traders blow accounts? Because intelligence can become a liability. In trading, being smart is not always an advantage. Sometimes it's exactly what holds you back. Most people believe trading is a battle of knowledge. Learn enough, study enough, analyze enough, and eventually you'll become profitable. But the market doesn't reward knowledge alone. It rewards decision-making. And that's where many intelligent traders fail. Smart people are trained to solve problems. In school, there is usually a correct answer. In business, effort often produces predictable results. But trading is different. The market doesn't care how intelligent you are. It doesn't care how much research you've done. It doesn't care how confident you feel. You can make the perfect analysis and still lose. And for many intelligent traders, that's difficult to accept because they are used to being right. They build an identity around being right. And trading attacks that identity every day. Instead of managing the risk, they try to prove themselves correct. Instead of accepting losses, they fight them. Instead of adapting, they defend their opinions. A small loss becomes a larger one. A larger loss becomes a disaster. Not because they lack knowledge, but because they cannot let go of being right. Another problem is overconfidence. The more intelligent a trader is, the easier it becomes to believe they can outsmart the market. They see patterns everywhere. They create complex explanations. They become convinced they understand what's about to happen. And when confidence becomes certainty, risk begins to disappear from their thinking. Positions get larger. Stops get wider. Rules become optional. Everything feels under control. Until the market proves otherwise. And it always does. The market has a way of humbling everyone, no matter how intelligent they are. Another trap is analysis paralysis. Smart traders often gather more information than they actually need. They read more reports, watch more videos, study more indicators, search for more confirmation. They believe the next piece of information will finally remove uncertainty. But uncertainty never disappears. It is part of trading. The search for certainty becomes endless. And opportunities pass by while they continue analyzing. The irony is simple. The more information they collect, the harder it becomes to make decisions. Professional traders understand something different. Their goal is not certainty. Their goal is probability. They know they can never know exactly what happens next. They only need an edge. A small advantage repeated consistently over time. Nothing more, nothing less. Smart traders also struggle with ego. Ego is subtle. It doesn't always appear as arrogance. Sometimes it appears as stubbornness. Sometimes it appears as attachment to an opinion. A trader becomes emotionally invested in a market view. The market moves against them. But instead of accepting new information, they defend the original idea. They add to losing positions. They ignore warning signs. They refuse to change their minds. Because changing their mind feels like admitting failure. But in trading, flexibility is strength. The best traders are not the ones who predict everything correctly. They are the ones who adapt the fastest. They understand that every trade is simply feedback. Not validation, not judgment. Just feedback. There is another reason smart traders struggle. They often underestimate psychology. They focus heavily on strategies, indicators, market structure. economic data, but they ignore their own behavior. Yet behavior determines execution, and execution determines results. A mediocre strategy executed with discipline often outperforms a brilliant strategy executed emotionally. That's why psychology matters. Because knowledge is useless without control. You can know exactly what to do and still fail to do it. Most trading mistakes are not caused by lack of knowledge. They are caused by fear, greed, impatience, overconfidence, and the inability to manage emotions under pressure. Professional traders understand this. They spend less time trying to predict markets and more time managing themselves. They build systems, rules, processes. They remove as much emotion as possible because they know the biggest risk is often not the market. It's their own decision-making. The truth is uncomfortable. Intelligence alone will never make you profitable. Discipline might. Risk management might. Consistency might. Self-awareness definitely helps. But intelligence by itself is not enough. In fact, intelligence can become dangerous when it creates overconfidence, when it creates attachment, when it creates the illusion of certainty. The market rewards a different mindset: humility, adaptability, patience, and respect for uncertainty. The traders who survive are not always the smartest. They are often the most disciplined, the most flexible, and the most realistic. So if you're a smart trader struggling to become profitable, the problem may not be your strategy. It may not be your indicators. It may not be your market knowledge. The real challenge may be your relationship with uncertainty, your need to be right, your attachment to predictions. Because trading is not a competition to prove intelligence. It's a game of managing risk. And the moment you stop trying to prove you're right is often the moment you start becoming profitable.